Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Porter, and next to me is Adrian and Steve. And first of all, we have some announcements and just some things that we're adding to the show, and I'll have Steve start us off here.
First off, we got big bets. Anything that, any bets you guys want to make that you want on the show, hit one of us up, let us know. We'll get it on the big bets board so everybody can see your shame or your win. And we'll put, for money, we're doing bones. Anything else, like here we got a bottle of YAC. Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Get your bets in, boys.
Keeping a tally, and we'll make sure that people don't drop off with this. It'll be marked down.
It's written in stone on the dry erase.
And what are the running bets so far?
So right now we got Porter and Adrian. AJ Brown a top 8 finish. We got Porter saying he's finishing top 8. Adrian saying he's going to finish below top 8. And the winner gets a bottle of YAC from the loser.
And then just to jump in, this is something that I wanted to shout out because this epitomizes what and why I wanted to start this thing is because of our next bet right here between Mikey and Tyler. Tyler added us on Twitter saying that he thinks that Cam Newton will finish in the top 12 of quarterbacks, which already is fantastic. That's the involvement that I want to see. And then Mikey retaliates, says that Darnold is going to finish higher, and then they created a bet via interacting with us on Twitter of just the boys bullshitting about football. It's just
that's what it's all about.
Yes.
And for that one, we got 10 bones.
Yeah.
It's official now.
Yeah.
So, like we said, get your bets in, boys.
Yeah.
Well, I think at some point we may try to have it hanging, where it can always be seen. We'll figure that out later.
Yep. And then, Adrian, you got something too?
Yeah, shout out to Jay Squeeze. We had a little graduation run last night, and then shout out to my sister Alexa and Capri Celine. Just had a baby last weekend. So.
Capri daughter, not Capri son.
Capri Sun Yakima. Yeah, shout out to that. And
Cheers,
do the cheering honors.
Cheers. Now, at first, when you brought up Alexa there, I thought you were going to shout out her, NFL-sized hands.
Yeah.
That photo that you had clowned on her.
The Russell.
Somebody's going to get in
mitts.
trouble here soon.
Yeah.
The Russell Wilson sized mitts, yeah.
I have no part of this conversation.
It's all in good fun. Okay, so today, another highly anticipated episode. We're going to go into our sleepers by position. Some of these guys you have heard us, talk glowingly about, but we're going to put these, stamped out there so that when the season happens, we can go back and say, damn, that was a nice call. Or, wow, that dude is dog shit.
Yeah, that happens to me. I'm just going to not say anything about it.
But
let it go to sleep.
But even then, even if that does happen, these guys you're taking them so low that these are dart throws. These are long shots that also can become league winners.
Absolutely.
The James Robinson.
Yeah.
Diamonds in the rough.
Yeah. James Robinson. I had Darren Waller a couple years ago, just literally from watching Hard Knocks. I was like, dude, I think that guy can play. And took him with my 16th pick.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I still didn't win that league, but that is.
I remember that league. That was a sad Porter league.
Scoring the most points in the league, but yet don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think our friends have heard me bitch about that so many freaking times. But okay, so then we're gonna jump right into it, and we're gonna go by position and each give our sleeper, and then we'll try not to bag on each other too much. These are dart throws, but I know Adrian. Spoiler has that Dolphins helmet sitting in front of him.
Oh, you noticed that?
Yeah,
huh?
you got the hard on for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But last year, not to go on too.
I got a hard fin.
Dude, you actually ended up, making some good calls with the Dolphins last year.
won some good money. Them upsetting the Rams last year.
Yeah.
And they took down the Cardinals, too. Oh, no, it was the
The
Niners, then
Niners,
Rams.
Mhm.
Yeah, back to back. They may have even taken down the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I got to double check that, but formidable team.
Yep. But then now getting into that, we're going to start with you, Adrian. Your QB sleeper.
Sleeper. It's going to be Tua time.
Mikey,
The
that bird was for you.
Yeah, fucking Mikey.
yeah, so my sleeper is going to be Tua. He's going into his sophomore year.
Tua, what's his last name?
Tunga Viola.
Not bad. That was actually
Tunga
looking good for a
Viola.
second.
Tunga Viola. Yeah, so he's got, everyone thought they were going to waste their, not waste, but put their first draft pick on a lineman to protect Tua. But they instead chose a weapon. They got Jalen Waddle. Will Fuller they got in the offseason. He is serving a 6-game suspension, and he will only have 1 game to serve. So it'll be his 6th game as the first game of the
'Cause he had
season.
5 last year.
5 last year, yep. And then they got Devontae Parker, who's always been, I think, a sleeper in itself. And hopefully if Waddle emerges, he doesn't have to take on that number 1 role, and he can just be that, deep end zone, deep route threat, jump ball guy that he is, And then also, who knows the running backs, but I just think he's going to take a step forward this year, despite his practices. And, he's going to run that offense, and he will be a good... This is a sleeper where I wouldn't choose him as the first QB, obviously, but it's somebody with a lot of high upside, with a lot of weapons, especially if you get Waddle. Could be awesome to pair with when your QB has a bye or anything like that.
There was actually talk of the Dolphins wanted to draft Waddle even over Jamar Chase if he was there. They are super high on Waddle and that college connection that he had with Tua. But, yeah, Steve, I want to get your take on Tua because I think I've talked at length about how I don't see it, but...
I'm holding out on Tua. I know that's not a very exciting answer, but he came in at a very rough situation last year, which I know there's rookie quarterbacks who came in more difficult situations, but I think with him, starting and, his team being quite vocal that they were not a fan of his starting, I think that puts him in a very difficult spot. So I want to give him, at least a few more weeks to kind of feel him out now that he's he's the official number 1. There's not a split locker room, or seemingly not. Where he's he's captain of the ship. So now that he's firmly in there, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I worry with his size, number 1, and so many of his completions came from like play action and bootlegs and rollouts and stuff like that, where he didn't have the pocket around him to be able to see over the top and throw. And dude, for rookies now, look at what Herbert can do. Look at what Burrow can do. Those guys to me are so clearly better than him. But hey, that's why Tua is a sleeper and get to take it at the end of the draft.
We'll say for those who miss Fitzpatrick, he did grow out his beard this offseason to help nourish the people that are still missing him. But my honorable mention would be Carson Wentz as my second sleeper. I hate Carson Wentz. Hated him last year. Shit on him all year saying he was bad, but
We had some conversations about that.
yeah, it was one of those things I'm hoping where it could be goes to a new environment. Colts are a winning team. He goes to his old QB coach.
Way
And,
better offensive line.
Yeah,
Way better offensive line. They got Quentin Nelson. And, some new weapons could emerge with Carson Wentz under the gun.
Is that foreshadowing? Yeah. Whoa.
Okay, now we're going to jump right into Steve's QB sleeper.
So I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anybody. Mike, I'm going to go ahead and retract my middle finger earlier because I like your bet. I got Sam Darnold. Dude's getting out of the Adam Gase cloud curse, whatever you want to call it. Tannehill worked wonders once he got out of that bad juju. He's got borderline elite talent with Moore. He's a pretty damn good wide receiver. He has he's got Christian McCaffrey, which, enough said there.
Who could be the best slot receiver in the game?
Exactly.
If he played receiver.
Yep. Jesus Christ. So the big thing that I think really differentiates Sam Darnold though is his history with Robbie Anderson. The dude's just a great possession receiver. He's just a really good football player, I think, and they've had history. He was able to put in work on the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's on a better team, and with better coaching, I think he's just set up for success.
Yeah.
He's got the weapons. He's got the coaching. His offensive line isn't that great, but
yeah,
he's got.
That would be my big concern is the line for sure.
But my counter argument to that was Sam Darnold. He was able to produce somewhat with the Jets' offensive line, which was atrocious since he came in the league. So even the smallest upgrade of offensive line, I think he's going to be able to, especially the smallest upgraded offensive line plus the insane upgrade of his weapons.
Yeah.
He's going to be set up for success.
You'd have Becton.
Well, Becton only in that last year, and Darnold didn't really play much last year, and that's what I was gonna ask you about. Is are you concerned that he's gonna be making out with too many chicks again and getting mono?
The dude's a stud. What can you say? I mean, hey, that's
Southern California boy.
Yeah, if you're like a dude like Sam Darnold, you're gonna be making out with a lot of girls. It's hazards with the territory, man.
I guess so. We at Kennedy had our problems with mono back in the day.
I had mono twice.
Oh God!
I did in high school and then again at WSU.
Oh,
apparently, my body doesn't know how to make antibodies or whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, but you and Darnold can really relate then.
It's kind of why I like the dude.
Yeah.
Brothers in, I guess not arms, but
yeah, closer to Eskimo bros than anything. But
I'll take that with Sam Darnold.
Too far though.
I'm down.
But yeah, my concerns with Darnold definitely that offensive line is scary. But he is actually a lot more mobile than people give him credit for. And even with that highlight spin move that he did, that became a meme for a little bit. But the dude's actually pretty damn mobile.
Well, and he beat the number one offense in the Rams last year. Defense.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got Robbie Anderson. I think that's big.
Yeah. They've got that connection. DJ Moore is a very underrated player. He's freaking legit.
Yeah. And they have a tight end too. I don't remember his name. I was talking about it with Mikey yesterday. Who's
the guy who fantasy football has been waiting for so long.
What's his name? Ian Thomas.
Ian Thomas.
Yeah. Hey, he could break out.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, it is what it is. Yes, sir.
I can't believe mono. Yeah, that was my
is
bad
what
for
it
bringing
is.
that shit up. All right, then I'm gonna go into my guy, and I was choosing between two of the rookies, but I ended up going with Justin Fields. And now I'm going with Justin Fields because I think we saw a bit of a blueprint of how he can succeed in fantasy football with what we saw from Jalen Hurts last year. Now, part of why Hurts went in there was because, yes, Wentz was turning the ball over at a ridiculous rate, but it was also that their offensive line was bad. And as hard as Wentz would try to do his Russell Wilson back spin moves and shit like that, he just wasn't fast enough to get sacked. And was just getting sacked. He couldn't escape the rush. And what made their just horrible offense look somewhat decent was putting in a guy, Jalen Hurts, that could then run the ball and escape the rush and just create a different style offense. And I think for the Bears, coming back to Fields, is that the Bears' offensive line, they got rid of Leno, their left tackle, and I think he was their best offensive lineman. And they're going to be trotting out Jermaine Ifedi out there at right tackle. And I think a Seahawks fan knows that that's not the right move.
Not a recipe for success.
No, they got the monster O-lineman out of Oklahoma State, that the guy with the glasses that was the dude just pancaking people. But, like, I don't think their offensive line is good, and I think that Dalton is going to be a statue that they're going to realize that to try to help their quarterback, they're going to need somebody who can run and escape the rush. So I went with Fields over Trey Lance because I think Fields has an easier path to see the field sooner on. I watched the Chris Collinsworth podcast where Nagy said, no, Dalton is going to be our week 1 starter. Like, okay, if he plays week 1, they get trounced, and the Bears fans, who we all know are nuts, are going to be hammering.
I feel like that's what every coach does.
Coach speak.
The coach speak, and the facts are with the action. They traded up to get him.
For real.
And it's like, well, are you going to waste all that? And maybe he's just trying to not have him feel like he's the man and work for it.
Right.
You know, coming on to training camp. So
There's going to be a punctured lung in Andy Dalton's future here pretty soon.
Dude, I don't know. That stuff with Herbert and the Chargers, Tyrod getting his lung, that was the most crazy thing that I had seen.
Coach just slipped him a 20 to give him a little lung poke.
Oh, my God. Dr. Needle.
he's definitely someone, if I got Allen Robinson early rounds, I'm targeting Justin Fields, you know.
And we've seen that these weapons like Allen Robinson, and like I'm a big fan of Darnell Mooney. I think that he, like, people don't know about him as much as one of these breakout rookie wide receivers from last year, because the guys that were throwing him the deep ball, like, dude, Nick Foles and Trubisky, like, even Andy Dalton is an upgrade over those guys.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that they're going to be really looking forward to having a young QB with a strong arm that can throw down the field. And it's not only going to help the Bears offense as a whole, but those weapons for fantasy. And I think that Nagy is actually an underrated coach at this point. If you've been able to get anything out of your offense with Trubisky and Foles at quarterback, like, I'm projecting a little bit. This guy's a rookie, but I just think that he's a good enough coach to where he's not going to just destroy Fields as rookie QB.
Bears are already, I was going to say, projecting. Fans are already saying he's pretty much like the next thing closest to MJ. So as long as he performs better than the past QBs, he's already a legend in Chicago. So.
Well, and another thing, to your pick's credit, I think once he does take the job, there's no question. With Trubisky and Foles, there was always a question of, Trubisky was winning games. Why'd you put Foles in? Foles is in and he's sucking. There's always that, like, who's the guy?
Yeah.
I think 1 or 2, maybe 3 weeks in, Dalton's going to be out. He's going to be the guy. It's going to be a done deal. There's not going to be that, balance of who's who. So I think that goes a long way with the quarterback.
And Dalton signed a 1-year, $10 million contract. It's not like they're, like, invested with him. Like with Wentz, where, like, Wentz getting benched for Hurts was, like, a big thing because he was getting paid so much damn money. But, like, I think Fields,
million.
He's got an easier path than Trey Lance at to be QB1. I think he's got a super strong arm. His mechanics do look a little weird with his upward elbow and all that stuff, but he has a big, strong arm, and
he can run.
He can run.
And
he looks like Cam Newton, just not quite as tall.
Extend plays, and you got Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney, and is Jimmy G still their tight end?
Yeah, Graham did resign. Yeah.
Right. And hogwash.
But then Cohen and Montgomery are very capable running backs, and both can catch the ball. But he's going to be a guy that you're going to be getting at the end of your draft. And if you do have to pair him with another QB, with your second to last pick or something, it's not the end of the world. But all right, guys, then we're going to go to a less exciting position, sleeper tight end.
You.
Yeah, you. I don't think anybody wants to scrape the bottom of the barrel for a tight end, but if that's your draft strategy of taking as many wide receivers and running backs early as you can, a lot of us are going to have to be put into this position.
Should we do reverse rotation this time? You want to start out?
All right, fine. You guys have heard me talk about him quite a bit already, but that's Irv Smith. Record prediction for the Bears.
A safe 8-8.
Well,
Oh, no,
now
it'd be 8-9.
Yeah.
9-8. It's gonna be their first, in a while. But now I honestly think they could go, especially with Rodgers on the fringe.
Yeah,
They can get in the double digits.
for sure.
Yeah, it all depends on if
10 and
Rodgers
7.
plays.
Dude, literally I was going to say 10 and 7 as
10
well.
and 7. Yeah.
If Rodgers plays, you think he'll go 10 and 7?
I think even with Rodgers playing, and not to go too far on this, but just I just don't think they're going to have the same mojo that they have the past couple of years. It wigs me out.
Dude, we came into this year saying the same thing, and
And now it's
Rodgers
even
balled
gotten
out.
worse to me.
I'd say the Rodgers is way worse.
Yeah.
They're still nothing
Well,
close.
so going into last year, Rodgers was like a bottom of the barrel fantasy quarterback. He was going at the end of drafts because there was all this stuff about, oh yeah, he's just worried about his efficiency, so he's just throwing the ball away constantly, and he's not airing it out because he's just protecting his efficiency stat. He's still, I think he finished number 3 this year.
Yeah.
So I'm not willing to discount Aaron, unless he
unless he
comes
doesn't
out,
play.
unless he doesn't
But the
play.
Packers have a lot of holes on their team too, and it's not just about Aaron Rodgers. But the Bears have a really good roster. I struggle with who's going to finish better, the Bears or the Vikings.
The Bears
Both
have
teams are
always
really
been
good.
a QB away
Yeah.
since the beginning of time.
So then if Fields pops off, that can put
Can-
them up into the double digits.
That's a
Uncharted.
big if.
It
Yeah.
can be uncharted territory. How
Yes.
good are the Bears
But if
with
you
a
can
good
go 8-8
QB?
with Trubisky.
Yeah.
They made the playoffs a couple times with Trubisky. They went
Yeah.
12-4 with Trubisky one year.
Yeah. that's a
Okay,
good point.
moving on.
All
now.
right, so
Yeah.
then, back to tight end. Thank you for the question, though. I appreciate it, Danny. Thank you for coming into the chat. Tight end, I have Irv Smith. Now, Irv Smith, with a lot of my sleepers, is a bit of a projection. But at least with Irv, last year, he started popping off. He had that 3-touchdown game. Then I think they saw enough of getting Rudolph off the field, and Irv was able to do enough, and obviously was faster, more athletic. They used him in the screen game.
I will add to that with the top 10 QB like Kirk Cousins. It's definitely possible.
But they now shipped away Rudolph.
Yeah.
I think Irv Smith's going to be the guy. He was drafted in 2019 out of Alabama, who is just a highly touted guy. I have right here. He's 6'2", 240 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And
Big
he's
boy.
but he's a pass catcher. He's not your typical inline big blocker. They used him a lot in the red zone, running fakes and play action to Dalvin Cook, and then have Irv Smith leak out the side for easy touchdowns.
Did you say he was 6'2"?
6'2".
Oh.
Yeah, 6'2", 240. So he's a smaller, athletic, faster tight end. And I think he's going to be, you're going to have to load up your secondary on Thielen and Jefferson mixed with Dalvin Cook. I think he's going to get a lot of easy play action, deep seam routes because he has the speed to get down the
One-on-ones.
field.
Yep.
He's going to be in good position, and he's going to be a guy that you're getting in the 11th or 12th round or something like that. He was going in our mock draft around with guys like Logan Thomas and some of the other guys that we're going to talk about. But I think he's got high upside, highly touted recruit out of Alabama. He's still very young, and his role is increasing to the point where they got rid of Kyle Rudolph. So
I'll say, what Bama recruit isn't highly touted?
actually, but still, you got to be good enough to
Yeah.
even make it onto that
That's
school
true.
to play.
That's very true. Yeah.
But all right, so now we're gonna go back to Steve.
My guy is Tyler Higbee. Before I get into Tyler Higbee, a quick shout out to Robert Tonyan. I was going to choose him, but one, I think he's made enough of an impact that people know who he is, know he's going to be good. And two, with the whole Rodgers thing, I'm just leaving that alone for right now.
Yeah.
So my guy's going to be Tyler Higbee. Now that we got Everett, he's going to be the lone guy. You don't have to do the guessing game of, who's going to be the catch and passes this time.
Right.
And to be 100% honest, I think Higbee was the better pass catcher out of the two. So now that he's not having to compete with Everett, who I think is an outstanding tight end, I think he's going to eat. And that's not even to mention a significant quarterback upgrade.
Yeah.
He's going to be getting balls from Goff. I appreciate Goff, but I really don't have confidence in his arm. Matthew Stafford, I have all the confidence in the world. I think it's a slam dunk. He's on a good team, good QB, decent offense, and he's a good player.
And Higbee, like with what you're saying, where their roles were different, where Everett was catching a lot of screens and short passes, whereas Higbee was kind of the seam, like middle of the field stretcher. And I think, like you're saying, with Everett leaving, Higbee may see still some of the downfield routes because we've seen him do that, but then could potentially step in to higher volume with some easier catches, up close to the line of scrimmage. I think that'll be a good pick. With Julio Jones on, keeping it. Danny, you got to go back on some of our episodes. We are extremely high on Kyle Pitts.
I don't think he's a sleeper. I think
No.
If anything, I might reach for him as my first tight end off the board.
Well, yeah. Well, we had him. You picked him in the mock draft in the 4th round, I think. Right?
I would do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
there in
got
the
him,
4th.
I think pretty much consensus, like not to spoil our tight end ranking episode, but I think he's at 4 for us right now.
Mm-hmm. With the respect to
Darren
Darren Waller at 3, you can't. But I think he has the potential to be top 3.
Yeah. No,
easy.
We absolutely love Kyle Pitts for sure. The guy's a freak. But all right, do you have anything on Tyler Higbee? I know you're a big Everett guy.
Higbee, with Everett gone, I think a lot of their offenses with tight ends. Now is Waldron leaving gonna affect it? I don't know, but I think then you go back, has the Lions with Stafford, did he ever really produce with a tight end?
Oh yeah, with TJ Hawkinson.
TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
So is he a TJ Hawkinson? I think no, but I think he's
better.
He's good. Hawkinson. Is he gonna? Does he need a second Everett? No, same. But does he need a second guy like Everett on his team, or can he do solo? I think Higbee's good. He always burns us, but we'll see. I think he is a good.
Do you guys think that Tyler Higbee will finish better than Hawkinson this year?
No.
You think Hawkinson will be better?
Oh hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was breaking out last year. Yeah.
He's their number one option in the offense for the Lions for sure. If we need to put that on the board, I think Adrian and I will both take you up on that later. But
well, I'll think of a bet. I gotta think of where I want him to be, and
okay. I had Hawkinson last year, and he won me a lot of games. I ended up trading for him early on for like Jerry Jeudy or something like that, and then finished at tight end 5, I think. So now, Adrian, I think you're at.
I'm gonna go with my guy Jonnu Smith.
Shocker here. Shocker.
He's 25 years old. Now people ask, "Oh, what about the Patriots? They got 2 tight ends. Are they going to be successful?" We just got to go 10 years back to Aaron Hernandez, the murderer, and Gronkowski. They were literally unstoppable. Now these guys aren't exactly those two, but they are considered
the diet version.
They are considered the top tier, echelon of tight ends in the league. And then Henry was he is listed as number 1 on the unofficial depth chart, but I would stay away from him just because although he finished all of last year, he did miss the final 2 games with COVID. But just going through his injury history in 2017, he had to end the year with the kidney laceration. The next year in 2018, he had a torn ACL before training camp, so he missed the whole year. And then 2019, he missed 6 seasons with a left knee tibia plateau fracture. I wish we had Squeeze on the line, and he could probably break
he
that
could
down.
tell us
Yeah.
exactly
Break
what
that
the hell
injury
that
down,
is.
but it does
that
not.
to me means he hurt his knee.
It does not
That's
sound good. It's
No.
been spread out. In 2020,
Is it tibia, knee?
It's in your leg.
it's neck. I know it's close to the knee, you know. But in 2020, we're like, oh yeah, he didn't get hurt. He got hit with the virus. The man is an injury bug.
He's a lightning rod.
He is a lightning rod for catastrophe in the legs. The
You're
lower half,
emphasizing right
yeah,
now.
the lower half of him. Not to mention,
Oh, where are your kidneys? That maybe from the kidneys
Mm-hmm.
down.
not to mention, he was born in 1994, like myself
No,
and
I-
He's a
you.
young
No,
buck.
I'm
My s-
93.
I'm 93 too.
Oh, I'm 94, so you guys can probably speak on this even more. And
The
Old as
94
hell.
babies suck.
it does it does not get easier. It does not get easier in the upper 20s.
Yeah.
And he's going to be turning 27.
I think you also have to follow the money a little bit. Like, they went after Jonnu first in free
Mhm.
agency,
Mhm.
paid him more money, then added Hunter Henry, which I think was only like a week after that, but did get less money.
And Hunter Henry did have 60 receptions off 93 targets, so he's targeted a shit ton last year. But he was only able to get 613 yards, not bad, and 4 touchdowns. Where Jonnu Smith only had 41 receptions off 65 targets, so 28 less targets, and only had 448 yards. Not as much to be expected. But as far as efficiency goes, he had 8 touchdowns, double of what Henry had.
Yeah. He was kind of a red zone monster. They were giving him sweeps, like they were
Mhm.
running a lot of, like what they did with Herb Smith, doing play action with Henry and having him leak out on the side, thinking that he's going to block.
I think the Patriots are definitely going to use their tight ends. History proves it. And if I were to choose one of the guys, Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith, I'm going with Smith based off injury, and just I think he is going into that breakout mode of his career.
You know what they say? Availability is the best ability.
But no, Johnny is super athletic. He's very fast. But one concern that I have, and I don't mean to be the I'm trying to play devil's advocate. These are sleepers, but like I worry that Jonnu is going to be kind of in the Gerald Everett shorter passing game role because he is faster. They can use him on screens and try to get him out into space. And then I think Henry is going to burn Jonnu on some weeks because he is going to be the seam field stretcher, kind of like how Higbee is. So Hunter could have those like bigger games that can kind of blow it for Jonnu, but I think Jonnu could be more consistent overall.
Honestly, I can't imagine it would too much.
No, that's a good call though, Mikey, because Cam does have a serious history of throwing to tight ends, and I think that was a huge reason of why they're going to go 12 personnel and run 2 tight ends, because I think that fits Cam pretty well.
I'm just going to say, regardless, I see Jonnu Smith staying on the field longer than Hunter Henry. And I think Mac Jones, I like Mac Jones. I think he's legit.
Forgetting about Jared Stidham.
Fuck that guy.
But yeah, stays the same. I'm looking for Jonnu Smith for my team at the end of the round as a backup tight end.
I'm staying away.
Yeah.
I was in the Higbee Everett situation. It wasn't fun.
Having 2 tight ends there.
Well, because I think it was 2 years ago. So, but one of them was usually on the waiver wire, and I had it seemed like whoever I started, the other guy went off.
Yeah.
Or
Now,
by going off for tight end standards.
would you guys say
Top 10.
Gerald
Yeah.
Everett is a sleeper?
No. That's just me.
Yeah, I don't either. I didn't want
I
to.
thought that you liked Gerald Everett. I thought that we had talked about that.
I love him. I just don't want to list him because I think he's ranked higher than a sleeper.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
see, I don't think he's even approached
You're not-
sleeper category.
I
yet.
haven't seen him draft.
You think he's beneath the Earth's crust?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's melting right now.
He's melting
lava.
deep in the.
I think he'll be really good for the Seahawks, but not for fantasy.
We'll say Jimmy Graham was the last decent tight end,
Only because he
Will
caught
Disley
touchdowns.
was nice too.
and
But not for fantasy.
we all thought he didn't do
Yeah,
too
he
well.
games before he got hurt.
Yeah, from catching touchdowns, but I don't
Yeah, we all thought he didn't do too well because of Jimmy Graham's Saints seasons, but he got 10 touchdowns with Russell Wilson.
But Gerald Everett is not Jimmy Graham is literally a power forward in a football uniform.
He's the softest power forward.
He's there to literally just go and catch rebounds and catch a touchdown off of the 2-yard line, which the Bears still use Jimmy Graham in that role. He's not a sleeper because he's dead. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you. Yeah,
Harsh but fair.
yeah.
Well, that might be my diamond in the rough then.
Jonnu Smith, Irv Smith, Higbee will all be drafted before Gerald Everett does.
And if those guys are gone, in the very last round, I might scoop up
You
that.
get a dude like Tater out there drafting 3 QBs and 3 tight ends.
We'll see. We'll see.
Dude, yeah. I remember last year, Chad took Gronk in the 6th or something. Ended up, obviously Gronk was not that great, but then he kept Gronk on his team on his bench the entire season, and then in the back half of the year was playing Gronk over Mark Andrews.
Who
which
was going
actually
off?
Was the move to do,
Yeah.
which was actually right. So then that actually, Chad's pick ended up actually working out for him because he sat him all season for the end of the year to capitalize on those late season touchdowns.
My biggest thing with Gerald Everett is we got a new OC, Shane Waldron, who used to be a tight ends coach, who used to coach Gerald Everett. And it's
Who still wasn't shit for fantasy last year.
But his competition's Will Disley, but Will Disley's more of a blocking tight end. He can catch in space. He's slow as hell. And then we got rid of Greg Olsen. He retired. And then we let what's his face? The smallest tight end in the league. Hollister. We let him go.
He's on the Raiders now, I think.
So the one person that could emerge that we don't know really about, but he's definitely a scratch off, is Colby Parkinson. Yeah, he was hurt all last year.
That 6'7" guy out of Stanford.
So unless he emerges, I think Everett is the clear-cut dude.
He's dead for fantasy. I can't believe we just spent that long talking about him.
Well, he's a Seahawks, so we got to give his due time.
For sure. But we've gone into that so many times. Okay, now I'm going to kick to you guys. Do you want to do wide receiver first or running back?
I think we should do running backs. I don't think that's as exciting as wide receiver.
Okay. Then we're going to go to you, Adrian. Who's your RB sleeper?
So I don't know if this guy, if in the chat they could honestly put him as a sleeper, but mine is Javonte Williams. It's hard enough drafting a late round QB, but if you somehow go wide receiver early, or even if you just want to stack up, you're good on running back, and you just want to take a flyer on somebody, I'm going Javonte Williams. He's technically in competition with Melvin Gordon, but Melvin Gordon's getting older, and Javonte Williams, before the draft, we were hoping the Seahawks were going to take him. We just didn't think we had a high enough pick, which was the case. But I think with Denver, especially with their uncertainty at QB, they're going to have to run the ball. And I think Javonte Williams is just fresh out of college. Melvin Gordon's got a lot of miles on him. He's in the ancient age for running backs.
So just a quick throw out there. Melvin Gordon was born in 93.
Yeah, it's not
So
necessarily.
Way better than 94.
But he's got a lot of miles on him. He was, as soon as he went in the league, he was frickin' running.
Yeah. He was a stud for the Chargers.
But he did slow down. There's a reason why they didn't want to pay him.
And he got injured.
Well, I think
he was injured
up-
that whole damn year except the last couple games. And that's why Eckler ate.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, Eckler, yes.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I think
exactly why
it was
Eckler emerged.
It was more to do with Eckler's emergence and Melvin holding out for more money than it was for anything that Melvin wasn't producing. That dude was a stud for the Chargers.
He was for his first season, his rookie year was ugly. It was a bust year, but then he did break out in the second year.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just think Javonte Williams at this point in his career, I agree with you that he is the far more talented running back. I know I've already ranted about this, but running backs from Alabama get overdrafted in the real NFL because their offensive line is always filthy every year. If it were up to me, if I was the Steelers general manager, if I was going to take a running back in the first draft, I would have drafted Javonte Williams over Najee Harris. Absolutely.
Besides Najee Harris.
Yeah. What's up, Nate? Good to see you, man.
I know.
Damn,
Adrian's over here calling people our age ancient.
Yeah.
Making me feel like shit.
Real, dog. I think my knees hurt.
Yeah.
Besides,
all of a sudden I'm noticing my back hurting.
Yeah.
Besides Najee Harris, I would say Javonte Williams was the best running back in the draft.
He's the best runner. Najee is far better skill set for catching the ball out of the backfield. But as a runner, Javonte Williams could end up looking like a Nick Chubb type, the way he's able to run in between the tackles. I think he will end up beating out Melvin Gordon for sure.
I think it's only a matter of time. And if you got him in the later rounds and he's on your bench, that's somebody that could be your RB2, potential RB1. Potential's there. But at the very least, he's going to be a solid flex play. And if he beats out Melvin Gordon, I think he's going to be like a James Robinson type where he's just eating.
Both of them will get used for sure. Like, they're not going to be paying Melvin Gordon that much money and not have him on the field sometimes, but also taking a running back that high in the draft. And the Broncos have a very good offensive line.
And what they did do was use Phillip Lindsay. He had the youth. He had the stamina, and then they'd let Melvin Gordon just kind of hop in. But Phillip Lindsay is small as hell.
Yeah.
And Williams likes contact. He's a big back.
Yeah.
He's gonna get better as the game goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only a matter of time. I think.
PFF has only been around for like 8 years or something like that, but with their tracking, they found that Javonte Williams broke more tackles in a season than any other running back that they've been able to chart within the past 8 years. He was like, you and I were like freaking salivating.
Big hype.
Williams.
Big hype.
Dude, he was juking guys, running guys over. He's far more talented than Phillip Lindsay is. Absolutely. But, all right, Steve, moving in.
So my guy's Trey Sermon.
Another rookie.
Another rookie. He's a big dude. He's like 6'2", 220, somewhere in that neighborhood. Obviously, he's on the Niners. Niners are a good team. They're going to score touchdowns, and they run the ball. So, to me, that means he's going to be the big dude that they put out there on the goal line as a rookie. So, you have some good opportunity there. But the big draw with him is where are my notes here? There we go. Mostert, however the hell you say his name. Raheem. Yeah. He's a stud, but again, with the injuries, there's always something. I mean, he snapped his forearm one season. He's in and out last season. And then there's Jeff Wilson, who also is having injury concerns.
Yeah, he got hurt in training camp.
Yeah, supposedly out 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know what the injury was, but if that lingers, or if that gets re-aggravated, you got 2 iffy backs on possibly the most run-heavy team in the league.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to say it right now. Fuck Jeff Wilson. Fuck Jeff Wilson.
Fair.
Say what you want. I wish I would have played Jeff Wilson in the championship game over Chris Carson, but I didn't have the stones to do that.
Fuck Jeff Wilson.
That guy.
Fucker.
Yeah. So, anyway, not all that upset he got hurt. Just kidding. But at the end of the day, he's on a good team. Trey Sermon. He's on a good team. He's got goal line potential, and he's got 2 shaky guys ahead of him. And I think, if you're going to take, I think he's going in like the 10th or 11th round.
He's going pretty
So,
good. Yeah.
This guy, look at what happened with Jeff Wilson last year on the Niners. He was a nobody, and he won some people some pretty significant games.
Yeah, huge weeks.
So I think Trey Sermon is he's, if anyone's gonna bust out, on the running back sleepers, it's gonna be him.
So you give me shit about like saying I'm ready for Dak Prescott to bust, or
I was just
something like
yeah,
that?
yeah. I was thinking about that. I would say add an asterisk to his name because I wouldn't start him for 2 games, and those 2 games are against the Hawks. Great running defense, and we're not about to let a running back, a rookie, Trey Seaman, run all over us.
I remember the Hawks getting run over a few times last year.
Yeah, a few times.
I don't think that
Alexander Madison ran over us.
I assuming that one of these, Jeff Wilson or Mostert, goes down, which would be really the only way I start Trey Sermon to begin with. Assuming one of them is down, I'd be happy to play him against the Hawks.
How big is Sermon?
He's a big dog.
6'2", like 220.
Which goes against the grain of what the 49ers typically
Mhm.
like with their speed, like zone run game. But that could actually fit Sermon as being that thumper goal line back where you could get some cheap touchdowns, even when Mostert and Jeff Wilson are in the game. And that's a huge reason of why, like, seeing Mostert in like the 6th round or something like that, you're like, oh, you're getting a starting running back. But that freaks me out.
There's a bit of a question mark here, too, because when Trey Lance inevitably takes Jimmy G's job, there's, a little unsurety there. I'm still happy to take Trey Sermon in like the 11th.
So you said
low
he's
cost, high upside.
You said he's gonna be the best out of the rookies. Do you want to make a bet that he finishes higher than Javonte Williams?
No, I did not I did not
he's-
say he's going to be the best out of the rookie. I'm not putting Trey Sermon against Najee Harris. I said out of these super deep running back sleepers,
he's going to be the best.
I think he has
Well,
the best
'cause
shot of
Javonte
being
is gonna
fantasy
be-
relevant.
So are you willing to
drafted a lot
put
higher.
money to that and say
Against what? A 6th round pick versus an 11th round pick?
Yeah. Javonte in our mock draft went in the 7th. Sermon, I think, was pretty
Alright.
further down.
If he was drafted, he was like 11th round.
But all right, as a little bit of a transition, I think there is a reason why for our sleeper running backs, all of them are rookies. My running back is Michael Carter of the Jets. Is we are seeing that, and it sucks for running backs. It sucks to be a running back because they are going to use you up while you're on your rookie contract and then ship you off. Aaron Jones is one of the best running backs in the league, and he had to come back to Green Bay with his tail between his legs, getting $8 million, and he is still with that contract, one of the top paid running backs in the game. So I think, for fantasy, obviously, we don't give a shit about that. We want the young running backs that we think the teams are going to pound into the ground. And I think that's why, when you see a running back, Sermon got taken in the 3rd round. Javonte Williams was taken in the 2nd round. Michael Carter was taken in the 4th round. But these guys, they're going to get the ball. They're not going to draft somebody that young and not give them the ball when they know that they're probably not going to have a second contract.
And what are the names? Because he's listed as number 1 on their depth chart going into it. And who's behind him?
Michael P. Ryan, I think.
No more Frank Gore.
No more Frank Gore.
Okay.
Did he retire?
I think he's still out there. On free agency. I think
God.
He's trying to get paid.
Somebody's going to pick him up, and he's going to get 400 yards on the season, and then he's going to go to a new
Just
team.
He's going to
some
play.
carries.
He's going to be the backup to his son.
He's a leech.
Yeah.
College.
He's a leech.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Him, side thing. Him, thinking that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, to me, is so dumb. Just because you've been in the league for so long, accruing stats does not mean you're a Hall
But
of Fame.
Well, he
he
was pretty
He was
damn good with
filthy.
the Niners.
He was very good with
I
the
feel like
Niners,
he
but
has to. You can't have those numbers and not be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
when you
he's-
play, 5 more years than every other running back.
but that's special in itself.
That is.
I mean, that's arguably Hall of Fame worthy that
All
he's
right,
able to
but
put up
that's-
numbers.
That's
a thing
another-
for another day. You will
Yeah.
never be able to convince.
I will say out of the
Hall
running
Fame,
backs
like,
listed, he's
yeah,
the
right.
only one who's the clear-cut number one.
Yeah, Michael Carter, absolutely. And, like, back to what we were talking about with Trey Sermon and the Niners, it does relate to that because Saleh and LaFleur coming over from the Niners, Saleh got to pick up the offensive coordinator from there. They're going to run that zone run scheme. And, like, that is on record. That is going to be their plan for the run game. Michael Carter fits that offense perfectly. He was the lightning at North Carolina to Javonte Williams' thunder, where he was catching screen passes and getting them out in space. His touchdowns were big runs, getting through the hole, and the secondary players not being able to catch up to him. He was listed, I think, as 198 pounds, but like, which is, at 200, you're pretty solid for a running back. But like, he is the fast player that fits the zone run scheme. And like, with the Niners, like, and Michael Carter's getting drafted averaged higher than Sermon, but I think a lot of that has to do with the lack of competition in the backfield.
I want to give him the nickname President Carter.
President.
Yeah, if he goes off.
President of the
Yeah.
backfield. In
Sorry,
New York.
Jamal Adams, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's president.
I like it. And then I'm actually going to cheat because I wanted to sneak this guy in there too. He's not my wide receiver guy, but like somebody who I'm going to be taking with the last pick of my draft is Elijah Moore, the rookie wide receiver out of Ole Miss. All of the hype of Jalen Waddle getting drafted, he's the same size, ran a similar 40 time. And kind of like with Michael Carter, like, I just don't see a lot of competition in that Jets receiving core, where I know Crowder came back, but he had to come with his tail between his legs and take less money because people realized that, yeah, he put up a lot of stats because who the hell else was there? And I know that he is a slot receiver, but Elijah Moore is so much faster and brings a different element out of that slot where it's not that short option game. Like, Moore can burn you over the top.
But Crowder's going to be their number one. Oh, I mean,
Corey
the last
Davis, I
pick,
think,
yeah,
was their
Corey
number
Davis, Crowder, but they're going to need the number 3. And I feel like Lawrence, I almost want to list him as a sleeper, but he's
Right.
not.
You mean, no.
Or not Lawrence, Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
But he's not because of, Zach Wilson. But I think he's going to be slinging it.
Yeah. And I think that rookie-to-rookie connection from rookie minicamp and stuff like that, like, that's a bit of a stretch. But, like, Elijah Moore is legit. He got taken at the top of the second round, and I think he's going to get a lot of targets and be a starter for their team from day one. So that's somebody that, like, in every mock draft that I've done, he is not taken. So that's somebody that I am going to be looking to grab with my last pick of the draft. So I had to sneak him in there to my Michael Carter Jets take because there's just so many just vacated targets and carries that these rookies can step in and be workhorses for. So yeah, that rounds out our running backs. And just let's do a recap here. For QB, we had Tua, Darnold, Justin Fields. Tight end was Irv Smith, Jonnu, and Higbee. Running backs are 3 rookies, Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, and Trey Sermon, which I think all 3 of those guys, like, taking a running back that late, like, that is somebody who could be a complete steal for your team. Just anybody that could get carries that late in the rounds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so then moving into wide receivers. Steve, you kick us off on this one.
All right, well, I went from Trey Sermon, a young buck, to Emmanuel Sanders. Dude's old.
man.
Yeah. But, he's going on to the Bills. John Brown is gone. John Brown was reliable. Had him last year when he played. When he's on the field, he's reliable.
Yeah.
Dude catches balls. He gets targeted. I think Emmanuel Sanders is coming in to fill that same role. Emmanuel Sanders is a good player. He has been for a long time, and he ended off with the Saints doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
His last few games. I think the being on the Bills, as we saw last year, the amount of times they throw the ball is enough. I think they can feed, the pig of Stephon Diggs, and also have plenty of room to have Emmanuel Sanders get a nice finish on the season.
I think they had more pass attempts than any other team in the league.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these picks, they're, aside from arguably Sam Darnold, I'm all about getting guys on a good offense.
Mm-hmm.
The more opportunity you have at a touchdown, the higher you're ranked for me. So Emmanuel Sanders, he's on a good offense with a really good QB, and he's a good player. And he's not being drafted in a lot of drafts. So I think that is a very easy target for me that costs nothing and could finish as a top tier wide receiver too at the end of the season. It's possible.
Do you have any specific thoughts with Emmanuel Sanders?
Top tier wide receiver, unless Cole Beasley goes down. I don't see that happening. But I do. I mean, I had Emmanuel Sanders all throughout when he was a Bronco, and he'd always get a ridiculous amount of catches, yards. He wouldn't score touchdowns. But same thing with the Saints. He's reliable. He's all reliable. He's going to get the targets. He could potentially, I don't see him beating out Beasley just with the familiarity going to a new team. But he's going to be a reliable guy. If he can't find Diggs, if he can't find Beasley, Sanders is going to get open.
So Beasley only started eating when John Brown went down.
Yeah.
But he kept eating.
Yeah. Beasley down the stretch was very good. But
Yeah.
they do have completely different roles. Beasley is that safety blanket little slot guy. But
Would you take Beasley before you took Emmanuel Sanders?
I think I would too. Yeah.
Only because of familiarity,
And I worry that Emmanuel Sanders is gonna be washed. I just this is something that is not like.
Let me guess, he's born in '93.
No, it's just he's over
92.
30. No, he's over 30. He is older.
Motherfucker's old.
I just there's a wave happening in football, and I feel like especially with quarterbacks and wide receivers, we are seeing
The guys we know
movement.
and love are getting old.
They are dude, Demaryius Thomas. I took him in
dropped
the
off
6th
the
round,
map.
and he dropped off a cliff. And I just worry that some of these guys are just starting to get washed. Zach Ertz, it happened real fast. We watched the end and demise of Zach Ertz.
They took him out back, and
So that's not your grade A fantasy analysis, but
maybe not conducive to my argument. The dude's 34 years old.
Yeah.
He's pretty damn old. But I think the upside's there to justify a 13th round pick.
he
Every
did
day
do well when Michael Thomas went down. I
Yeah.
will say that.
And their offense was horrible when both Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders were
Yeah.
out. They really struggled. That's when they were running the ball a ridiculous amount of times because they couldn't throw.
And as an aside, there is controversy with Cole Beasley right now.
Dude,
So-
his COVID takes
Yeah. Without getting into the substance of it, the way he's expressing his thoughts, I think could land him in some hot water. The dude is literally tweeting out notepad statements,
yeah.
and regardless of your beliefs, I mean, he's saying some pretty silly stuff. He's phrasing it in pretty silly ways.
This is
And
this is our friends here.
Yeah.
I
Thank-
getting into politics and stuff, but these are our friends. When I saw him give credence to what Montez Sweat from the football team said, when he's like, I'm not gonna treat a leg that isn't broken, or I'm not going to treat this thing that I don't have. I was like, did you give your dog a rabies shot, or did you wait for it to get rabies and then you gave it a shot? Were you given a tetanus shot when you were born, or did you wait to get tetanus?
I don't think they understand what the term preventative means.
Yeah, I don't, which is nuts. And it's going to suck when we see that there is a legitimate competitive advantage for teams that are able to get over that COVID threshold and not have the same restrictions as teams that don't
I
have
will
that.
say the Seahawks have over 70%
Yeah.
of their team vaccinated.
And they didn't have a single player go down with COVID last year. As much shit as I give Pete for his X's and O's and old ways, that is where
It's impressive.
he's a great coach for that.
Shout out to Seattle. I feel as a whole, with health, technology, everything, they are pinnacle of the country.
Head of the curve.
Head of
for
curve.
Sure. But all right, like sorry for that, but that's just something that has been bothering me. Where I'm like, that doesn't make logical sense. Like,
Regardless
Bold
of
prediction: Houston's done.
regardless of your thoughts on vaccinations itself, I mean, this Cole Beasley guy's headed down a dangerous path.
I
in
think-
terms of
I think
pure
unless he beats his
playability.
wife or significant other, the
Well,
league has shown.
No, he's
even then, though,
but it's
Yeah, even
but
then
it's
they'll let you
different
back in.
because he's going to the public with this stuff.
yeah.
Going to the public with things is a lot more dangerous than just beating your wife. I mean, that's neither here nor there.
For real.
I
though.
joke, but in actuality, I do think there is something to be watched there that may affect his
Adrian's in
availability.
pain right now. He's in pain. But okay. All right. Now we've gone on from Emmanuel Sanders. We, in our mock draft, you did take him with the very last pick of the draft, I think, for your pick.
Mm-hmm.
Or then you took like a kicker after that. I think it was your last actual position
I
player.
can
It was like
look.
13th round or something like that. Adrian Smiley. We'll go over to
I'm
you.
just
Who's your
laughing
wide
over
receiver?
Cole Beasley. That man's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not
bef-
giving myself a kiss.
Before I give him two, which I mean, it could. You're right. It could play in. I mean,
it
we
was
could
the last
see.
round.
Before I give my guy, I'll say honorable mentions. Going back to two rookies who I think will be great value picks, who have potential to be the guy and hit the ground running going to the league, is Jalen Waddle, whose consensus rank on ESPN's 48 at the wide receiver, and then Devontae Smith, whose consensus is at 40. Both with young QBs, but they could easily be the guy who takes over the alpha number one spot, no problem. And they're going to get a lot of targets. And
Devontae Smith for sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle, you have Devontae Parker, but that man he looked like
Old too.
he could have been better than Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith got the stats, but everyone was saying
Or Parker.
no. Devontae Smith at Bama got the
okay,
stats,
sorry.
and then Waddle was same thing, but he was the guy as well, where people kind of thought he would go higher in the draft.
His injury last year definitely hurt him.
It did.
But he still got taken over Devontae Smith.
Exactly. And with that being said, I'm going to say Michael Pittman, who's not even in the top 50. He's got Carson Wentz, which is why he's ranked low as his QB. Carson Wentz, if he went back to his normal form, he can sling the rock. He can throw it far. And the only person ahead of him on the depth chart, so he's number 2. Number 1 is T.Y. Hilton.
Who is also could go into our washed list of players.
See, I love T.Y. Hilton. I wanted to get him last year, and I'm glad I didn't, because he always falls back. And with Andrew Luck gone,
He hasn't been good since Andrew
he
Luck.
has. I'm going to say Phillip Rivers is not a good rebuttal. He was washed on the wash chart too last year. That's why he retired. I will say I'm thinking Wentz is above Rivers. I'm hoping he is. And I think Pittman could easily leapfrog Hilton, whether it's T.Y. becoming washed or T.Y. just getting injured. Those are both high on the list. I think Pittman can be the guy going into year 2 where he could be getting a lot of shares and getting that number 1 kind of target range, which someone that's outside the top 50 could be a potential number 1 is a lot of value.
And he definitely has a lower depth of target, average depth of target, than T.Y. Hilton does. And like we saw last year, Pittman was used a lot. He's a bigger target. He's a bigger guy and was like used in crossing routes a lot. And they were giving him a lot of YAC opportunities for him to catch on the crosser and get him out in space and run. The guy's a gazelle. I think that is he'll be definitely a value pick for sure.
They do still have.
Paris
I
Campbell,
mean, he was hurt all last year too.
the speedster, and he is listed behind Pittman.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So
Campbell was so much hype for him coming out of Ohio State, but he has not done jack
the
shit.
next T.Y., yeah.
No, he really hasn't done anything. He was a huge disappointment for the draft, just in general, because he was electric coming out of Ohio State. But Yeah, I know you had talked about Michael Pittman too a couple weeks ago. I think that was just with us BSing. But
Yeah, I mean, I think he's an excellent sleeper pick. He was one of the guys I was considering.
Yeah. And they didn't really draft any other receivers. Big baby.
Yeah, this is a natural light hat.
Natural like that.
I sent out the warning that we were getting close to the draft pick ceremony, probably like 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes out.
All right, then then I'll round it out with the wide receivers real quick. My wide receiver sleeper, who we went into a lot about this, is Russell Gage. And I think last year we saw he could be the legitimate number 2 receiver in Atlanta. Like, they gave him, I had here, like 108 targets. And some of that was by necessity with Julio going down. But, like, he filled that role very nicely.
Now Julio's really down.
Yeah. Down and out.
Down and out.
And I think that, like, yes, Kyle Pitts, like, we're very excited about him. But he's not going to be getting, like, prime Julio Jones level of targets. Who knows?
Who knows?
But but Russell Gage, like, being their number 2 wide receiver, to me, is completely solidified. They didn't draft another receiver. And he got...
And he's proven.
He's proven. He was good in space.
And guess who's back? Back again. Their QB.
Oh.
Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, yeah.
He's back?
I mean,
Did he
I'm
ever leave?
No, he never left, but it's like familiarity when you're going back.
Yeah.
He proved with Russell Gage. He
Odell
trusted
Beckham
him.
Jr., Joey.
First year wide receivers never perform.
DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
not quite.
That is such an old narrative that has been busted. Like, QBs and wide receivers now, with how much 7-on-7 they're doing in the off seasons, and how college football has gone to the spread offense and are not just running the ball. Even Alabama is running more passing concepts than running, and like that whole narrative of first year.
I will say it does have to be a freak wide receiver.
Well,
every year there's a couple.
Yeah,
there's a couple
I mean AJ Brown. I mean, it depends on your level. Like Justin Jefferson level, that is like unheard of for a rookie wide receiver.
He broke the rookie receiver.
Yeah,
but like someone that's getting close to like 1,000, like 600 to 800 yards for a rookie.
But when your narrative is based around something that we literally just saw, like, that happened last year, like that's not. Sorry, that's an old way of thinking. But
T. Higgins, Mikey, shout out T. Higgins.
Yeah,
we didn't consider T. Higgins a sleeper. We thought he was
above
the sleeper level.
I'm looking for him in like the 6th round or something like that. If I'm RB heavy at the beginning, I love me. We thought Tyler Boyd. I wanted to put him as a sleeper, but we thought he was too high
too well known.
I'm loving the Cincinnati passing game.
Now I know there was somebody that you wanted to bring up. Or unless there was more on Gage.
I did want to. I kind of put him in with my Justin Fields take that I think Darnell Mooney is going to be a big-time sleeper, too, at the end of your draft. He was so much better as a player last year, but his quarterback play was just awful. But
I think there was somebody else, too, wasn't there?
Please, God, don't tell me it's not
Mr.
Tim
OBJ.
Tebow. Oh, yeah, I do. Like, I know I want to get the draft thing rolling since we have our buddies here, but I think on a later episode we really want to go into like
value.
Yeah, maybe so we can get your Cooper Kupp and guys like that. But like I want to see where people are at on OBJ. The guy has been beaten down to the point where like now is he like worth drafting?
He's been beaten down.
I don't think Laviska's a sleeper though.
Chenault is.
Laviska was definitely went around for me. I pondered it, but like. We don't know who's going to be the number 1 in that offense. I mean, Chark for sure, but like we don't really know what their offense is going to look like with Lawrence and
too many.
I thought Laviska was going to be kind of that like Curtis Samuel wide receiver running back combo, but now with them drafting Etienne and admitting that they're using him in that combo wide receiver running back role, I just don't really know what Laviska is going to be. But you're getting him in like the 10th round or something, so yeah, if you like that and want to take a swing, like. Definitely will not be a bad pick.
But you're saying OBJ's been beaten down.
Yeah. The guy was a first-round pick. Now he's like
Yeah.
a 6th or 7th.
He's
I
been
remember him
shat on.
questioning first
Allegedly.
overall pick.
Allegedly. Dude, I think even Colin Cowherd was clowning on him.
Yeah.
Like,
Shout out to It's Will, your boy KJ.
yeah. Swaggy.
Chark is out.
Chark is
What?
out.
Shark is out.
I think Squeeze is just bitter about Chark because he drafted him last year. I was bitter too, but I traded him away. But all right, Jenny, let's roll it.
And I know we said marbles.
So are we able to
and
have...
by
wait.
marbles, we meant a 100-yard dash by Little Running Men.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. We're able to have them view it.
Bear with us here. We're getting ready to go. Only legends like poopy chest. Do you know this from experience, Julian?
This is
Human racing.
This is
Yeah,
human.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to be in
100-yard
Yeah, you're gonna
That's
have
dash.
to move-
Yeah, we can. I guess when they get over a certain amount, you can just move us behind them.
So
Yeah,
it's
I
the
mean, I know the
100-yard
boys.
dash. Everyone's name is in there.
Yeah, we said marbles and we meant human running, not horse racing.
Okay. Are we ready to
Are you
do this
ready?
thing?
Are you
I
ready?
think we're ready.
Okay.
I think we got 11 people in here, so I think we got the whole league in here.
Dope. Let's go. What's up, y'all?
All right, let's do a countdown.
Oh no, we got 13 in here. So
This shit's rigged. This is garbage.
Alrighty.
We'll see. All right,
Haters.
we'll do a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start dash.
And they're off.
Run.
Nope.
Oh,
now
there
it's-
we go.
There we go.
And they're
Countdown
off.
to the
Ooh,
countdown.
did Porter jump out to the quick
Chad's
lead there?
coming out
Oh,
to the
shit.
lead.
Oh, we got Mikey there.
coming. Where's me? Where am I at?
You haven't gotten out of the starting blocks
I'm
yet,
the third
Steve.
one down.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race.
Oh, I'm feeling good about this. I'm
Oh,
taking
no.
my time. The turtle.
Ooh,
Chad's
squeezes.
really coming up.
TJ's got his feet in the mud. Down at the bottom.
Damn, Kyle.
Kyle.
Squeeze.
Go,
Oh,
Porter,
come on,
go!
dude. Why are you just sitting there?
Go,
Oh
Porter!
my god, I'm gonna get last pick.
Porter! Oops, sorry, I have a mic in front of me. That's probably not a good move. Go.
You know, I don't mind the
Oh my
Late
god.
picks.
Stop.
I will say
Come on, Steve. Come on,
I will
Steve.
say for a league
am I stuck?
a league
Oh,
commish.
you should move our cans.
Oh, a league
Corner.
commish winning first place.
Okay.
it is
League
rigged.
commish, that's
No, that happens a bunch. League commish first pick.
It's the
It's
curse
bad
of the first
juju.
pick.
It's a
Wow.
curse.
Kyle with
It's a
second.
curse.
I've never picked first before.
third is Chad. Oh,
No,
Adrian fourth,
that's
Squeeze
great.
Fifth.
That's
Oh, God, I'm gonna
great.
be right in the
4
middle.
is beautiful.
I'm sixth. Oh my god. I guess I'm good with
Joey's dead last.
that. Joey's slow as hell.
That's
Oh.
not a bad
Oh,
pick, though.
Joey doesn't. Joey, come on, man. We're waiting on you.
Bring it along, Joey. Bring it along.
The
Any day now, Joey.
100-yard dash gate.
All right. Well, there you have it.
Dope. All right, now, yeah, I mean, we
All right,
want to
let's-
get everybody on the pod, but we also want to make sure that we've got, we need to be up here practicing and make sure that we've got our shit on lockdown so that when we bring somebody on, it's not like we're all complete rooks at this. But, yeah, I'll win.
Joey, we've seen enough of your racing today.
I will say 2 things. The first pick for commish is notoriously not rigged, but notoriously bad luck.
It's bad juju. I've seen
Bad
that
juju.
Actually,
many
are you
times.
reverse
Yeah, I
jinxing me then? Because I'll take that, actually.
Well, from past years, history does repeat itself, but from what I've witnessed, it's been bad. So
That's
maybe-
right. I've never had the first pick before. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
But
Okay, well now we know that CMC's gone.
Second thing, why don't you list just so everybody, we can post this, but now that everybody knows their draft order, I mean, I would say it one more
Hey,
time.
good shit, Kyle. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes.
Much appreciated.
Yep. Thanks for coming in.
We got you first.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Happy birthday, Kyle. His birthday's tomorrow, right?
Oh, never mind. I take that back.
I'm still saying happy birthday.
Yeah, we got Porter first, Kyle second, Chad third, myself fourth, fifth the Squeeze, sixth is Steve, 7 TJ, 8 Kevin, 9 Swisha, 10 Mikey, 11 Tyler, and 12th is Joey.
Awesome. So now you've got like 3 months to be doing mock drafts
Yeah.
and getting yourself prepared.
So all of us are already going to know exactly what our team is going to be by the time we actually draft them.
Yeah, sure. That's how it'll work out. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll say when it comes to draft day, I'm never prepared.
No, it
Yeah.
never ends up
I am
shaking out exactly
never
how your
prepared.
mocks went or anything like that. But I think this way also it'll be able to have us have some people on the show sooner. Maybe talk about like, I know people aren't going to want to give up their picks or anything, but maybe talk about like where they're looking and strategy based on their pick. And
Well, I think we'd be pretty safe to, maybe even do some mock drafts with
Yep.
the picks because, as we just decided, it's not going to be, it's not going to turn out how we expect it. We can almost guarantee that.
yeah, for sure. Dude, I would love to do a league where draft picks and stuff are tradable, but not this year.
That'll be something we can think about for next year once we figure out how to do it.
For real. Or we could do a dynasty league or something where that can be a real thing.
I thought I was 6th.
Yeah, I got you 6.
Oh.
I'm writing like a thing back.
Fifth pick is money bags. But Squeeze, now
Wait,
all
that-
of a sudden it's not rigged if you like your fifth pick?
You got me twice.
Do I?
7th should be Tots.
Oh, what the hell am I doing?
Dude, I a couple years ago, I got I was last pick in your league, and then that day immediately I was the last pick in the 14-man league for Julian. I was the last pick for both.
How did that year turn out for you?
I had most points and didn't make the playoffs in Julian's league. And then in yours, I didn't make the playoffs even when I had Lamar Jackson on my team on his MVP year. It was rough.
Well, I can't put that in there.
But okay, yeah, thanks for all those that came into the episode and watched
We
all
can,
the Before Sleeper. And
Take
then,
a picture of the draft order, send in the
Yeah.
group
Yeah,
text.
and I can tweet it out too. But thank you all for those who came in and watched our Sleeper episode and those who came in to watch our slow-ass race there.
Yeah, our 100-yard crawl.
Yeah.
I would say Joey's slow race.
Yeah.
Dude, that was pretty speedy. Yeah. Who won it that year, by the way? Yeah, Mikey, you've already gotten to sneak that in here once. This is your second time sneaking that in here?
Honestly, that was far enough in the past. I don't even remember.
Yeah. All
I
right.
live in the here and now.
Deuces, y'all.
I love you guys.
Yes.
Peace.
Thanks
Have a
for
good night.
coming.